Hello everyone, welcome to Dr. Muhammad Sir Baraka Educational Channel. Today we are going to continue our lectures in research methodology, identifying variables. Let us to start our lecture today. As we said in previous lectures, we have research process. The research process, there are three phases. These phases we have 8 steps. This slide will be in each lecture. Phase 1 is identifying what to research. Phase 2 is planning research study. And phase 3, this is conducting your research. In phase 1, there is only one step, how to formulate a research problem. In phase 2, this is planning research study. This contains 4 steps. These steps are conceptualizing a research design, then constructing instrument for data collection. After that, are going to select your sample, then to write research proposal. In phase 3, this is phase of conducting your research. This contains also 4 steps. Step 1 is to collect your data, then to process and analyze your data. After that, to write a research report. Finally, publishing your research. In phase 1, deciding what to research, this is, as I said, how to formulate a research problem. To formulate a research problem, also there are steps for research problem formulation. These steps are review the literature already discussed in previous lecture and how to formulate a research problem. After that, to identify your variables and construct research hypothesis. Today, we are going to talk about identifying variables. Okay, in this lecture, we are going to talk about what variables and concepts are and how they are different. How to turn concepts into operational variables. You have a concept, you have a research concept, but this research concept should be translated to variables. What are the types of variables? From the point of causation, study design, and unit of measurement. Also, we will discuss in this lecture types of measurement scales. We have nominal, ordinal, interval, and ratio scale. The nominal, called also classificatory scale. The ordinal, also called ranking scale. Okay, what is variable? This is an image, perception, or concept that is capable of measurement. Because the concept is not capable for measurement, hence capable of taking on different values. A concept can be measured. Also, this is another definition. This is the variable is a concept, but this concept can be measured. As simple as that. Lacan champion define a variable as rational units of analysis that can be assumed any one of several designated sets of values. This is a simple definition of variable. What are the difference between variables and concepts? There is a first difference between the concept and variable is measurability, because concepts cannot be measured, but variable should be measured. The main difference between concept and variables, concepts are mental images or perceptions, and therefore their meanings vary markedly from individual to individuals, whereas the variables are measurable. So of course, with varying degrees of accuracy. A concept cannot be measured, whereas a variable can be subjected to measurement by crude, refined, or subjective objective units of measurement. Concepts are subjective impressions which, if measured as such, should cause problems in comparing responses obtained from different respondents. So that variables should be measured accurately. Whereas the concepts are not measured, you can measure it, but there are different measurements and different response from different respondents. This is the main difference between concepts and variables. So these are some concepts translated to variables. For example, the concept effectiveness. Variables can be gender and male, attitude, age, income, weight, height, religion. All of these are measurable concepts. But effectiveness, satisfaction, impaction, excellent, high achiever, self-esteem, rich, domestic violence cannot be measured. For example, I want to study patient satisfaction in somewhat surgery, whatever the type of surgery. You cannot measure that satisfaction of patients unless to translate this satisfaction to the variables, measurable concepts. How to convert the concept to variables? This simple question. You have a concept, for example, effectiveness or satisfaction or excellent, high or self-esteem. How to convert these concepts into measurable variables? Okay. These are concepts and these are indicators and then to variables. For example, rich. The indicators, income. Then you are translated this to income per year, per month, or per day. So that this table, please revise it by the end of the lecture. You can stop the lecture and just look for this. To convert your concepts to the variables, first things, put a concept in your mind, then put indicators for this, then translate this concepts plus indicators to variables. Then you can measure all the things. What are the types of variables? We have many types of variables in many point of views. There are three different ways. Have casual relationship, then study design, and the unit of measurement. According to these ways, we have many types of variables. From the viewpoint of casual relationship, we have change variables and outcome variables, then effect or influence, connecting or linking variables. What are the change variables? The change variables which are responsible for bringing about change in a phenomenon, situation, or circumstances. The outcome variables which are the effects, impacts, or consequences of change variables. Variables which affect or influence the link between cause and effect variables. Connecting or linking variables which in certain situations are necessary to complete the relationship between cause and effect variables. To simplify what we said, in research methodology, the change variables, we call it independent variables. And the outcome variables, we call it dependent variables. The unmeasured variables affecting the cause and affect relationship called extraneous variables. And the variable that link a cause and effect relationship are called intervening variables. So that either we have independent or dependent, extraneous or intervening variables. What are the independent variables? The cause supposed to be responsible for bringing about change in phenomena or situation, while the dependent variable, the outcome or change brought about by introduction of an independent variable. This is the difference between independent and dependent variables. While the extraneous variable is several other factors operating in a real life situation may affect change in the dependent variables. This is not the dependent or independent variable. These extraneous variables. This from outside. These factors not measured in the study may increase or decrease the magnitude or strength of relationship between independent and dependent variables. For example, the functional outcome of proximal femoral nail amputation in treatment of unstable intertrochanteric fractures, the pain or walking after operation. For example, 3 months post-operative, I want to measure the distance walked in patient treated by PFNA2. Okay, the extraneous variable here. What is the extraneous variable? In this, the extraneous variable affecting the walk of the patient post-operatively, and it is not measured in this study in the PFNA2 in unstable intertrochanteric fracture. What is this variable? For example, knee osteoarthritis. The knee osteoarthritis affecting the walk of the patient post-operatively, but it is not measured in the study. Intervening variables, sometimes called the confounding variables. It links the independent and dependent variables in certain situations. The relationship between an independent and dependent variable cannot be established without the intervention of another variable. The cause or independent variable will have the assumed effect only in the presence of an intervening variable. This is the link variables also called. From the viewpoint of study design, we have active variables and attribute variables. The active variables, those variables that can be manipulated, changed or controlled. The active variables which can be manipulated, changed or controlled. For example, smoking, you can change the smoke, control the smoke, you can manipulate these variables. Attribute variables, those variables that cannot be manipulated, changed or controlled, and that reflect the characteristic of the study population. For example, age, gender, education, and income. These are the fixed variables or attribute variables that cannot be changed or manipulated. From the viewpoint of unit of measurement, we have 2 ways of categorization of variables, whether unit of measurement is categorical or continuous. The categorical as nominal and ordinal scale, continuous in nature as interval and ratio scales. Whether it is qualitative or quantitative. Qualitative in nominal and ordinal scales or in categorical part, and quantitative, this is in nature, quantitative in nature as in interval and ratio scale. This is in continuous. The qualitative is for categorical, quantitative for continuous. The categorical variables are measured on nominal or ordinal measurement scales, whereas continuous, the measurements are made in either interval or ratio scales. We have continuous variables. This is constant variables, dichotomous or polytomous variables. The constant variable has only one category or value. For example, the water is only one value, not more. But this has 2 categories. male, female, yes or no, good or bad, and so on. Polytomous can be divided into more than two categories. We have, for example, in religion, we have Christian, Muslim, Hindu, whatever. Political is many political categories. Attitudes, favorable, strongly, favorable, uncertain, and so on. This is a table for categorical variables, and this continuous in quantitative, and this is quantitative variables. Each type of variable here have examples. So you can revise this table by the end of this lecture, and to know the types of variables. Next part of the lecture is type of measurement scales. Stevens has classified the different type of measurement scales into four categories. This nominal or classificatory scale, ordinal or ranking scale, and this is interval and then ratio scale. I think this is said in the previous slide. Nominal, ordinal, categorical, interval, and ratio. This measurement of continuous variables. The nominal or classificatory scale enables the classification of individuals, objects, or responses based on common shared property or characteristic. You have common things that shared for categorization. Is used for naming, describing things. Nominal scales simply classify people into categories by labeling and are convenient method of describing them as individuals of all groups. For example, this gender, marital status, religion, race, hair, color, and country, and so on. It's just some examples. The ordinal or ranking scale, this includes statistical data type where variables are in order or rank, but without a degree of difference between categories. The ordinal scale contains qualitative data. Is ordinal, meaning the order. Place variables into order or rank, descending or ascending, only permitting measure the value as higher or lower in scale. Status at the workplace, order of product quality, and order of agreement or satisfaction. The interval scale is quantitative measurement scale where there is order. The difference between the two variables is meaningful and equal. The presence of zero is arbitrary. Measures variable that exists along common scale at equal intervals. Temperature measured in either Fahrenheit or Celsius. Time, minutes, hours. Age measured in years. What about the ratio scale? The ratio scale is quantitative scale where there is true zero and equal intervals between neighboring points. Unlike an interval scale, zero on ratio scale means there is a total absence of variable you are measuring. It's clear point. For example, height, money, age, and weight. Age 0 is no age. Money 0 pound, height 0 centimeter or inch, and weight.